All right, Drew, here's a look at one of your stubby runs at Mount Snow. Um, we talked about that day how we need to, train like it's a race, find that extra gear, because race day we can't magically find it. So we talked about having, strong starts, good finishes, and attacking. I wouldn't call that the strongest start, right? We got to be skating hard. Finn over here, well, he was pushing, and I don't know, I wouldn't call that like an amazing start either, but at least he was skating and pushing. So let's treat it like a race, get up to race speed. Now, Finn here from this gate, I did it from the second gate to give you a little more time to get into the course, I guess, get up to speed because you didn't have a strong start. He beat you by like a second and a half to the last gate. I did it there because you didn't have much of a strong finish either. So let's try to figure out why. Number one, you got to be carving the top of the turn more, right? So skidding is slow. Number two, you tend to take a pretty high round line, which is a little safer. And I know we talk, this is where it gets potentially confusing, where a lot of times we're going to tell you to get that high line, give yourself lots of room above the pole, bring shape back to the pole. So yes, we do talk about that a lot, but we got to figure out, how much do we need? So I don't mind you starting off here, but in training, we need to then say, all right, that run I had a nice high line. Let me lower that line a hair and still try to finish tight to the pole with direction done. So you can see you're out really where Finn is. I mean, you're out here in this stuff, right? So he cut the line down, and that's just obviously less distance traveled. So he cut the line down, and he still managed to be on the pole with direction done. All right. This one here, you can see, I think maybe the gate will be a reference. He never really, that red stubby, we never see it to the right of him. His hand is there. Obviously we see space. So you're a little wider up at the top of the turn. You brought shape back and clipped it. That's good. On the pole direction done, you just took a wider, rounder line to get there. All right, so obviously, more distance traveled equals potentially slower time. You both came in here and kind of heel pushed and skidded the hairpin, and he wasn't on it and you were not either. So really got to make sure we're right through here quickly. You got to be quick little feet. Get that shape back. You gave yourself room, probably too much room. You're way off of it here. We don't want to be off of it that far. You need to be on those two stubbies. This is actually one of your better turns because I think you were low in here. You were late, low off the line, so it forced you to take a tighter line. That's a good turn. But the answer is not to be late. Let's see. That's a pretty good turn. I like that. I think that's a decent line for that one. Now, this one here, again, I think, you're kind of, you're quite high, which is, could be good. But I think, you're right. You're going to be here. Not quite there, but you're going to be more into this track. And compared to where Finn is, 2 feet below, bring shape back, still finish with direction done. You can see your track here. You give yourself a really high line, you started bringing shape back. You almost had to probably lay off the ski a little bit, kind of flatten the outside ski, because you were just, if you really arced from there, you'd probably be inside the pole or straddling, so you had to kind of relax a bit. And then there's the rest of your turn right there. So kind of double turning because of such a high line. And a little, obviously the spray is kind of slowing you down a little bit. Undergate, good job there. That's pretty good line there. Looks decent there. Now as we get flatter and straighter, and this course was a little bit flatter and straighter, we don't have to give as much shape back to the pole. We're going to drop our apex down to the pole. If it's steep and offset, we need to have apex above the pole, or in other words, where the most of your direction change happens. So yes, all right. So make sure we understand what we're talking about here. If it's steep and offset, we have to be having shape back to the pole, and our apex is right here. If it's flatter and straighter, we don't need to have that big shape back, and we can have our turn shape, be more like this, and apex is basically, we drop it to the pole. So we have half our turn above, half our turn below. We're bringing a lot of shape back there, which is not necessary. You see Finn run a little straighter at it, finishing down below. So you're kind of overturning. Which is a little bit slower. Again, your apex is above the gate here, bringing shape back and finishing. It's a nice turn, but when it's flat and fairly straight, we want to run it a little straighter, drop our apex to the pole, and have kind of half of our turn below and half our turn above. And we're turning around the gate. Again, here you're above it, brought shape back, and way above it here. You can see how you're turning well above and shape back to here. And that's just, when it's flat and straight, that's going to be slow. Finn comes in here. Doesn't really bring a whole lot of shape. A little less than, oh, that's actually a different gate. There's the one. So you can see when you're impacting the gate, where your ski's pointed, this way. His is more going to be down the hill. But just to make sure we understand, it's, when it's straighter and flatter, we can do that. When it's steep and offset, we do need to give ourselves plenty of room, bring shape back to the pole with direction done, heading off to our new apex area. All right, so let's play with the line next time. Try to lower it a little bit. We still intersect rise line with our skis pointing out and away, and we need to finish tight to the panel or pole, but we try to intersect a little bit lower in the rise line and see if we can pull it off, still be tight to the panel at the finishing of the turn.